back. Another installment here of Mad Chats at MHCC. He's Dr. Brad. I'm Dr. Scott. Let's dive into it. Dr. Brad, what is it that we're having a mad chat about today?
Okay, so you've come in with back pain.
Okay.
Right? What's caused it? Why is it there?
Good questions.
So, either from a macro trauma or a micro trauma.
So big versus small.
Yes.
All right, so big things. What do you mean by big macro traumas?
Okay, you've hurt yourself on the football field.
Okay.
Hurt your back. You've slipped over and fallen on your backside.
Yep.
Those are macro traumas, something you're conscious of.
So it's one big event. You did X.
Yep.
The consequences were Y. You knew about straight away. Okay. Micro, small traumas.
Micro traumas. So micro traumas are small repetitive traumas over time. Mm-hmm. These can happen over days, months, years, decades.
Okay. So what's some examples of that?
So, typically they go unconscious. So some examples would be getting in and out of the car all the time. Lifting that leg, the same thing over and over again. The same motion, same movement, getting out of the car.
Okay. That, and another example would be, and a very classic one that we talk about a lot will be posture, particularly postures associated with sitting, particularly postures associated with sitting at a computer desk, etc. So anything that keeps you still, remember, if you're not moving, that is actually traumatic to your spine and nerve system. And that's a big one. So someone comes in, they've had a fall, someone comes in, they've been a computer user and they coughed and they've got lower back pain, and this person fell over and they've got lower back pain. Are we suggesting that one is easier to fix than the other?
No, so typically with your macro traumas it's more of an acute inflammation instant, and typically on average healthy person would take about 6 to 8 weeks to sort of get to healing stage and be able to return to function.
Yeah, so you're suggesting is sort of that 6 to 8 weeks is to get someone out of that acute phase, get enough change, particularly if it's one injury, we can start to create some correction relatively quickly once we get beyond that acute phase of swelling and irritation.
Yes, yeah.
The smaller micro trauma case, someone's been sitting there, they've had poor posture, they've coughed, they've sneezed, they've suddenly got lower back pain. How do we go about getting that person and that level of correction for them?
Well, see, that's been happening for quite some time, over quite a number of years, months, days, or however long. So therefore, it's going to require a little bit more TLC than what your acute sort of injury is.
Okay, so typically the longer the problem has been there, typically, therefore, the longer it will take to heal.
Absolutely.
Plenty of acute, plenty of those macro trauma style injuries can be very complicated. They can be a macro trauma over on top of a micro trauma. It can be a variety of different presentations. What we're simply saying is that, number one, pain is not an indicator as to how well things are going. Right? You might be traveling along pain-free, but having these repetitive micro traumas that Brad's talking about doing damage to your spine and nerve system. You might also slip over skateboarding, roller skating, playing footy, ice skating, whatever it may be, and you have an obvious event that creates that damage. Both of which are very, very common presentations to our practice, both of which the Gonstead system is very, very adept at understanding how they've got there, and then going about figuring out what's the best line of strategies to implement in order to get that level of correction that you're seeking. All right? So macro and micro, big and small, they all need to be corrected, and we're here to help. So that's Mad Chats at MHCC. Dr. Brad, Dr. Scott, we'll see you soon.